Good morning. Let's study ACH, starting by technical analysis. This is the long-term chart going back to late 2000 when the stock was trading at about three bucks or so, and now it is a $25 stock. But well, the trend is still bullish over the long term, but the stock has been in this trading range between about 15 and 27 bucks. Let's move on to the short-term chart. We had here the 50 days moving average crossing above the 200 days, and the stock is approaching its all-time highs here at about 27.5. Well, there was a an higher high here in early 2006. So the trend, well, there's really no short-term trend because the stock has been in a trading range. Let me see what I have here as a technical overview. ACH long-term trend is bullish. Over the short term, the stock has been trading sideways. The all-time high is 27.9. Fundamental analysis now. This is the share count over the years. It was 320 million. The ADRs represent 25 common shares, and they were 320 million in 99 and 464 million now. So the share count grew at an average annual pace of 4.75%, and the market cap increased at almost 34% average annual pace since 99, when it was $1.1 billion, and now it is $11.7 billion. This is the balance sheet analysis. We have long-term debt of 1.087 billion, and the current ratio is now at 2.31, which is the best it has ever been. So no balance sheet problems, because 1 billion in debt is not a whole lot for a 11.7 billion market cap company. Revenues and gross margin. Revenues were growing moderately in 03, and well, this is not moderate, this is almost 40% rate, and here in 06 we had this big jump, but since 99 revenues are growing at a 20% average annual rate. The industry grew 17% from 2005. Gross margin for ACH in 06 declined to 32.3%, still way above the industry average of 20%, but the problem is in Q4 gross margins really declined a lot to 25.5%, and that worries me. Price to sales ratio for ACH is 1.48, and for the industry average is 0.76. So a mixed picture here when compared to the industry. Let's move on. This is earnings per share plus net margin, and earnings per share were $3.24 per ADR in 2006, with a net profit margin of almost 19%. This has remained stable here at 19% since 04, which is a very fat net profit margin. For 07, analysts are expecting a bit of a decline in earnings per share, probably due to weakness in aluminium prices. And what we have here is a price to earnings ratio of 7.8 for ACH, and the industry average is also low at 11. So looking a bit trading at a discount, but not all that much. Fundamental overview. Revenue growth accelerated in 2006, but gross margin declined to just 25% in the fourth quarter. Earnings multiple is just 7.8, but the aluminium industry average is also low at 11 times earnings. Long-term estimates. I estimate revenues will grow at a 15% average annual pace for the next 10 years, and net profit margin will be 19%. Well, there's a risk here, but this has been the average for the past 3 years, so I've maintained it. Given this, the company will have revenues of 32.1 billion in 2017, a net income of 6.1 billion. apply an average 11 times earnings multiple and get a 67.1 billion market cap. Considering 3% average annual dilution, we've seen the company has diluted shareholders' value at a 4.75 average over the past 7 years or so. I'm considering just 3% going forward. 67.1 billion, given this, 67.1 billion translates to a 107.6 price per share, and that means an annual return of 15.6% on my investment, if I did invest. Okay, move on. General overview for ACH. ACH is already a 11.7 billion market cap, and I look for smaller companies. The biggest risk of this investment is a potential drop in aluminum prices, as it happened in Q4 2006. This would shrink gross and net profit margins. I'm not sure ACH will be able to maintain a net profit margin as fat as 19% over the long term. Perhaps this risk expectation explains why the industry is trading at just 11 times earnings. Well, in the best case scenario, in my opinion, I would get 15.6% long-term return on my investment, and I look for a minimum of 16, and if it is above 20%, much better. So ACH looks like a nice long-term investment, but not the best I've seen. So my rating on a 1 to 10 scale is 7. Thank you. Bye.